We got a good one this weekend, guys. Live from Las Vegas, Leon Edwards is going to defend the welterweight UFC Championship against Colby Covington. And my partners at DraftKings have an incredible offer for all new customers signing up using the promo code Sonnen. New customers bet just $5 on any of this weekend's fights, and you're going to receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. You can even use your bonus bets in DraftKings same fight parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together within the same fight, including number of rounds and method of victory. Remember, DraftKings is the only place where you can bet same fight parlays. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Sign up using my promo code Sonnen or just click on the link below. Colby Covington, is this his last title fight? Right? If things don't go his way, is this his last title fight? I was listening to the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani a couple of days ago. One of Ariel's contributors put out a fun fact, and I did think it was a pretty fun fact, and it was just had to do with who has had the longest layoff, but after that layoff walked right into a title fight. And they proclaimed that it was Colby, that Colby was number one. And that will be when this fight takes place. Now, I must tell you off the top of my head, that surprised me, because I felt as though off the top of my head that Jon Jones took 3 years. But the way COVID went, I lost track of time. Maybe he didn't. Whether that stat is true that Colby is number one or not, we can agree that it's an unusual process that has been his career. A number of things that haven't happened before, and you wouldn't predict to happen in the future, have happened to him, including this opportunity. And when you talk about, will this be Colby's last title shot? Should it not go his way? Not what I predict. Just to have a conversation on this, I think you have an even deeper question, which is, would this be Colby's last fight? And that one is more intriguing, in my opinion. You know, Colby, in many ways, is young and fresh and new in the sport. In many ways. If you look at how many fights he's had, things like this. But he is most definitely a veteran. He is most definitely a hardened veteran. I mean, he started shaking hands and competing on Saturday at 8 years old. And never missed a Saturday. And by the way, averaged 4 matches his entire life every Saturday. He'll be 36 years old in February of next year. So there isn't a lot of reason to believe, with as many opportunities as he's been given, or even the breaks in between, there isn't a very reasonable path back to title opportunity. So then you have the question of, would he even fight again? I just don't know the answer to that question, because there's been things in his career that he's even kept from me. I suppose the other side of that is I didn't ask. But I have wondered, where's he been, right? I mean, Colby's career is a riddle. He was the interim champion who never lost and one day woke up and was no longer interim champion. He beat the reigning BMF champion, but he himself never became the BMF champion. Like, that's a riddle. That's like a puzzle. And it's also very par for the course. Colby's been out for a period of time. The contributor on Ariel's show said is the longest amount of time anybody's been off and returned to a title shot that wasn't bringing the belt with him. And I don't know where he's been. I have thought, that's where we left off with Colby, was a 5-round victory over George Masvidal. But where we left off, that was in the octagon. That was not a title fight, even though you had a champion within the fight, and it was a main event of a pay-per-view. And then you had the legal issue, which I just assumed is what the delay was, but nobody's ever said that. In fact, the only time that Dana's ever spoke on that, Dana said, no, that will not hold these guys up. But we haven't seen him. Haven't seen him in a period of time. And I don't know how badly or how interested he is in continuing every Saturday to go and compete with somebody, or on a lot of Saturdays, or often on Saturday. I mean, it's just something that he's done since he was 8 years old. In an interim championship that never lost, but he doesn't have anymore. He beat a BMF champion. They didn't give him the belt. Right? I mean, it's one of these things. I don't know what more Colby can do. He should have 2 belts right now, up on his mantle. I don't suggest for you that you do the lineage and Kamaru Usman. I get the whole thing, but I'm just sharing for you. That should be part of it. Now he's going for the Triple Crown. Now he's going for number 3, the big one, the undisputed. And he's going against a guy who's got 2 victories over a guy who has 2 victories over Colby. The math doesn't work. DraftKings doesn't know what to do. They got this at as close to even money as you're going to see. Plus 115 to negative 125. That is as close to a dead lock as we have seen in 2023. And it's just one of these really interesting spots. Like, Colby has a lot of fans and Colby has a lot of detractors. But the fans and the detractors would be remiss if they did not admit for you the sport is more fun when Colby's around. The greatest detractor will tell you, I don't want him gone. I don't want him to leave. I'm happier when he's here. There is nobody that is a baseline on Covington. He evokes an emotion strongly one way or the other. I wouldn't see a scenario where he would return to a championship. And knowing him the way I do, where all he wants to do is be champion, I mean, there could be a drastic move made there. A drop to 155. A change up to 185. Something that created a path that was a little bit clear. It's very interesting. You know, when you go to Las Vegas and you play the big hands, all chips are in. And I'm not convinced Colby's just fighting for a world championship. I think there's something bigger on the line here. I think it's possibly his career.